السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى: والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. أما بعد, all praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most magnificent, most beneficent, most merciful. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all his ni'mah and favors that he has bestowed upon us. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the divine guidance, the tawfiq, and the life to be present in this gathering today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us certain qualities. Utilizing them correctly is the purpose and goal of getting to the character of a person who is a true human being. Otherwise, what happens is a person's character is molded by his environment. Like, I'll give you a mithal, an example. Children who go to public school have a greater tendency to use curse words. Children who are homeschooled have a less tendency to use these type of words. Why? Because of environment. Because in the certain environment, to cuss, to use words, to swear words, is normal. They use it in every sentence, right? And then children start using that also in every sentence. So the environment around you molds your character. It also molds your speech. You'd be funny. Does it also mold the way you walk? What do you think? I think it does, because I've seen a whole range of people like coming to the masjid. It also molds the way you walk. It molds the way you talk, right? It also molds sometimes even your outlook in life, that what you're going to be and what you're going to become. Everything is molded by the environment that that child has been brought up in. And everything is contingent. Like they say that the apple does not fall very far from the tree. But what does that truly mean? They usually use that phrase like the father and the child. But if you actually use that phrase that the apple doesn't fall from the tree, that means the environment also is the same thing. That whichever environment that apple has, that orchard is in, kept in, that's the outcome of the fruit, right? If an orchard has been kept well, no pesticides, everything's natural, you use natural pesticides, and there's a high probability that the fruit that it will give, it'll be more beneficial. But then you have a fruit which we buy full of pesticides, right? Which we eat, and that is going to, so you're eating something good, also you're eating something bad. At the same time, you're consuming two things. So there is different types of that's why you should try your best to not to just eat organic, but remember, organic can also be coupled with pesticides. So you have to say organic, that's not being, that's the natural pesticides have been used on it. So that just because the fruit might have been grown organic doesn't mean that it is free from pesticides. All right. So anyway, that's a side topic. Who am I to lecture you guys on food? You guys are, mashallah, master eaters. You know your food better than me. But khair, the topic is that a person is molded by the environment that he is brought up in. It molds his character. If a child, I went to a person's house. He goes, Sheikh, can you please come to my house? I goes, yes. I goes, what's the issue? He goes, it's my child, right? He goes, he's all over the place. Like he doesn't sit in one place, right? So I'll go to the guy's house, sit there, and the cartoon's on and the child's there. and the child is jumping as the cartoon characters are jumping, the child is jumping. I goes, is this what you are referring to? I goes, yeah. I goes, well, he's just imitating the cartoon characters. That's all he's doing. There's nothing wrong with him at all. He's just imitating the cartoon characters. Just, all you have to do is switch that off. It'll be fine. Because then who's going to look after the baby? It's another, like daycare. TV is daycare, right? So you put the child in front of the TV, mashallah, the child is brought up by the TV, right? All the children programs that are coming on, the child is nurtured, everything it learns is from. And remember, and it's a very important question to all of you. Can the child distinguish between reality and fantasy and what is real? And can a child distinguish between that? It can't. What it sees, it thinks it's, what is it? It thinks it's reality. Even if it's fantasy, it thinks it's reality. Right? So be very careful that, what you put before your children. Once upon a time, what happened when we were kids is no longer applicable. It's grandfathered in. Let's not talk about it, right? Because how we were brought up, right, was in a different era, right? I'm not even sure, but I'm sure, Anwar bhai, when you were young, was there TV around? There wasn't? Was there no TV whatsoever? Radio. A radio. Mashallah. So these are radio brought up. That's why, mashallah, look, these people were brought up on radio. When you were young, was there TV? There wasn't, right? So I can remember in England that sometimes in the 70s, sometimes it came in that time. I don't know what time, what the time frame was here in the United States, but it was somewhere around that time. But then everybody started, but then, at that time, you would say that, I wouldn't say use the word kosher, that everything that you saw was kosher, but it was different than what you see today, right? The content was different. What the content today is different. The hidden images and are different. It's just so many hidden messages are different. Remember, some of these children's programs are actually there that psychologists have been, they've used their input in actually putting together that program. They know exactly how a child is going to be thinking after he watches this program, right? It makes you think in a certain way. But khair, the reason I'm saying that is that we're affected by the environment that we grow up in. If you grew up in an environment in which there was no control of anger, there was no expression, there's no proper expression of it, there was no proper utilization of it, then what happens is then a person does not know how to utilize their anger correctly. Utilizing anger correctly is very, very important. That's why the person asks a question, and the question is literally 1.25 page long, 1 page long, and the answer is a couple of lines. But the question is that he goes, I'm tired of myself. The patient is saying, what? I'm tired of myself. I'm always grumpy. I'm always thinking bad of others. I'm not satisfied with my own self. I'm not satisfied with my own self. But sometimes I hang around with certain people that they say certain things. They might not have the knowledge to say it. And I get infuriated by their comments and by their suggestive comments. And my temper goes from 0 to 100 so fast that I am unable to control myself. No more control. Many times I have said to myself that I should restrain myself. I should practice control. I even tried that. I even promised myself that I will never do it again. But sometimes the situation is such that I just have to let rip. It just comes out. Now, so far, Who does it relate to so far? As I continue, one person, two people. All right. Because I even go about making, like, go through the entire process. Like, no, I just don't, it's not just I analyze the situation. I go through the process that I am not going to allow this thing to trigger me again. And then I say to myself, next time I'm faced with the same situation, it's not going to happen. But lo and behold, the same scenario presents itself, and me, I'm back to my old ways again. I get overpowered because something somewhere goes wrong all the time. And in this state, I don't know what I'm saying, how it's going to affect the other person. I have no idea what I'm saying. And then after I've said it, I sit there in remorse as to what I have said, that I shouldn't have said that. Because if it's my mistake, sometimes looking at where I am, and if the opportunity presents itself, I also try to make amends to the best of my ability. Otherwise, I just stay quiet. The case continues. Who does it relate to so far? All right. You backed out doubt? Because this action of mine has no purpose. There is no benefit to it. There is no meaning. It's not meaningful. There's no meaning to it. And the worst part is, the person I'm getting angry on, it has no effect on them. Because that's the worst part. Because they have their personalities as such, this is a norm for them. It's become normal for them. But me, after falling in this state, I have to go through this entire process of reevaluating, reorganizing, like rebalancing myself. But the other person's sitting in there absolutely fine. Then I go through the process again. I think, khalas, I'm never going to do it again. Until the effect of those words that they have said, it remains inside of me, it seems to me that I am spiritually empty. Even though I'm praying salat, I'm doing everything else that is needed of me. But to put it very shortly, it is as if eating food without salt. My salat is there, but there's no taste in it. Food without salt. Sometimes I'm just also wonder the people presenting their cases. Some people present their cases in a very eloquent way. Some people present their cases in a way that it makes you angry. It even makes the doctor angry, right? So, but some people present their cases. You think, okay, I'll continue. Keep talking. I'm listening, right? Now, eventually, when I get my head around the whole situation, I'm back to my state, earlier state. I'm happy. I'm enjoying praying, and the salat is enjoyable. Everything becomes fine until the next time it happens. So, but when I'm in that state, nothing makes me happy. I'm grumpy. Like even a happy state will make me, it will not have any effect on me. Maybe it's because I lack the insight and the foresight. Maybe it is because I lack the insight and the foresight, and I'm unable to comprehend the realities of the reality of the situation. Or maybe it is because I just do not understand the difference between what is right and what is wrong, basically. Meaning, is it even right for me to do this? Or is it maybe I just do not understand? But I can say one thing for sure, that my anger is only because when the laws of Sharia are broken. So it seems that the person asking the question is a knowledgeable person. Either he's working with other people, or he's working with other students, and he has his own group of students. So far, so good. Who can relate to it so far? You can relate to it? Bit? Because you have your own students, right? MashaAllah. See? MashaAllah. My students have students. I didn't even know about it. But khair, that's a different issue. We'll have to discuss it some other time. So he knew that was coming, but he fell for it. I knew, because the moment I asked him, his heart told him that be careful, be warned. This is a trap. But in his innocence, he fell for it. But again, there's something to be learned in there. There's a lesson to be learned in there, but afterwards, all right? Khair. Because it's not, my anger towards these individuals is not without right. It's not, I have some right to be angry. It is with right. But sometimes I get so overpowered by my own anger that sometimes I might say something that afterwards I'll go into a state of, I shouldn't have said that. Because then he sort of repeats his state in different words, but he's eventually asking the teacher that what shall I do in this correct state? Bilal, what do you think? You don't know. Akil, what do you think? You were daydreaming again? No? No. Answer. The person who's the person that is being questioned? The author of the book. Who's the person being questioned? Sheikh Ashraf Ali Thani rahmatullah. He goes, I myself find myself in the same predicament. The author is saying, I find myself in the same predicament. Sometimes a student might do something and I might get super upset, and I might say something that later I think I shouldn't have said that. But my statement is because they have acted against my dictates or against the dictates of Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet. But I find myself that it is much less than before. So I'm going to suggest to you the same solution, the same cure that I have done for myself, that I have used for myself. So he goes, number one. Because whenever you get into that state, you must make an active, firm intention that you will never allow yourself to exceed the limits. Number one. Making a firm intention to never exceed the limits. Number one. Number two. If there is some kind, if you have in that moment of anger of yours, if you have broken, or if you have destroyed, or if you have hurt, or you have transgressed upon somebody's rights, then you got to fix it. And if the rights are of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you need to seek forgiveness from Allah. But if the rights pertain to the people, this is the khulasa, this is not the exact words. If the rights pertain to the people, you got to fix that. I find myself that acting upon this solution, this suggestion, this cure, very soon you will bring yourself into balance. So let's go over the solution. Number one is, first of all, when you get into a state of anger, you must still be conscious that you are not going to break any commands and laws. Yes or no? Is that possible in the state of anger? It's hard, but is it possible? Yes. I agree. I'm not disagreeing that it's not hard. Then you have consciously get to allow yourself that I cannot get angry to a point that I do not understand the difference between right and wrong. That to get angry to that point, if you get angry to a point that you do not, okay, let me shelve this for a moment. Who has become furious? Who has went into a rage? Number one, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, that's it. None of you guys have gone into a rage. Abdul Aziz, I think you need to sit in front of me now. Not recently. He tried to make an excuse for himself. Oh, it happened when I was a young man. I'm an old man now, so I don't need to have the same issue. When I was young, it used to happen to me. But khair. So, everybody has gone into a rage, yes or no? Akir, yes? Yes? All right. Is there anybody who's a no? Is there anybody who's a no at home? I'd like to know. All right. So everybody has, in some way or some form, has always gone into a rage, yes? Can you pre-program yourself? Maybe once or twice. MashaAllah. Commendable, mister. MashaAllah. Did he answer to everybody, or was that directly to me? Direct message to me, all right. So that means I can't say his name. So anyway, he says that can you pre-program yourself that if you ever get yourself into a rage, what to do? Yes. Absolutely. If you get to a stage when heat starts rising, you know what that means, right? What happens when you become really furious? Does your cheeks become hot? Does heat rise? Huh? Remember, as soon as that heat rises, you're putting yourself into critical mass. You're going to have a sudden meltdown. Once the meltdown happens, khalas. Now you're saying, okay, I see the signs that I'm going to critical mass. You're seeing red before your eyes. Even sometimes when you become so angry, even your vision, the clarity of vision also disappears. Things become a bit blurry. Yes. Things shake. Things become a bit blurry. Even your body can go into shakes. All right. So now that you can pre-program yourself that if I ever get to that state, I either, number one, knock myself out, which is not going to happen. Right? Number two, take a sedative, which you won't have handy. Number three, jump in a lake, but if you're next to a lake, right? Or number three, walk away from the situation completely and don't come back. Which one? Or all of the above? What should you do? Practice, huh?
Go for like a run outside.
Yeah, that would work also. Walk away from the situation, right? So you're walking away from the situation. What you do after that, nobody cares. But it's because you're out of the situation, automatically the heat will decrease, right? So if you can, run it off, you can exercise it off, you can eat it off, you can sleep it off, you can do whatever you want. But you can also it's a double-edged sword. You can also do something wrong too, right? But anyway,
Isn't it sunnah that if you are standing, you sit down?
yes, it's gonna come, it's coming. But I'm talking about like I'm talking about when you get into a stage where you just like you have completely lost it. Pardon?
I did rage.
Yes, you're in a rage. You've lost it. Like now, in that rage, nothing, no words of wisdom, guys, is coming out of your mouth. No words of wisdom. Actually, the person in front of you is not listening to you. They're recording everything. They'll play it back to you afterwards, right? Nobody's listening to you, not having your words having no, the only thing that is doing that, it's subduing everybody else's voices because you're now in a rage. Nobody else can say anything until you do not get out of this state of yours. But technically, there is no benefit in it. So the best thing to do, that if you ever get to that point, is to leave the situation itself, walk away from it, and later figure out how you're going to answer walking away from a situation. Like, for example, a son is talking to the father, the son gets in a state of rage. Now he can't say anything to his father. Whatever he said. Now, if he walks away, he dies. If he doesn't walk away, he dies. But choose the easier death. What's the easier death? Walk away. Now, if you walk away, he's going to be upset as to why you walked away. Later on, you have to present yourself and say, listen, it was disrespectful of me to walk away, but I just went into it. My temperature rose so high that I needed to take myself out of the situation. I didn't want to say anything that might be disrespectful. They will understand that. You understand? Not that they will also understand that I shouldn't push him to that limit, right? But they will understand that. But now don't use that as an excuse to walk out on your parents. Like Torasa, like you get a small little anger, I'm walking out. I'm talking about rage here, right? So if you get to that point, but if you're in a situation other than your parents, then walk away from the situation. Even if the other person continuously keeps pushing you, the other person is inviting that rage of yours, there's just no benefit. Something's gonna happen, something's gonna break. You possibly in your rage is gonna throw something, it's gonna hit somebody's head, it's gonna damage something, it's gonna damage somebody. You just want to walk away. Now, I went to somebody's house and there's holes in the wall. There's hole here, hole here, hole here, hole here. I goes, what's this? He goes, Imam, this is my punishment to myself. When I get really angry, I just start punching these walls. I goes, what benefit is that? Like, who did you harm? You harmed your own house, right? Financially, there's harm. There's financial harm. Your house looks like a mess. You can't bring guests into that type of a place, right? But is there anybody here who breaks walls? The truth. Or who's broken a wall sometime? Okay, 2 people, 3 people, all right. So, breaking walls is of no benefit, right? You're only going to harm yourself. So, and then trying to show the other person that you have anger also. Or sometimes people listen, I need to show the other person that I can be angry too. That doesn't benefit also, right? Because you, again, expression of anger, expression of words of wisdom, yes. But expression of anger doesn't really get you anywhere. So pre-program yourself that if you ever get to that state, that you are going to walk out of the situation irrespective of what it is. You understand? Just walk away. Before you say something, do something, yes.
I was gonna say, if I'm in rage, is it too late?
No. Yes, before you heard this lecture, no afterwards. Because after you hear something, you cannot unhear it. So what will happen even after hearing this, you will go into a rage, but then you remember what I said. Then you say, no, I should have done that. So then you'll start implementing it slowly, slowly. You can never unhear this now. One of the benefits of attending classes is this. You can never unhear it. It's always going to be with you. And at the right time, it's going to pop up in your head. So yes, the water, drinking water, sitting down. Yes, when you get angry, that's coming, inshallah. That is a normal state. But in a rage, you need to get yourself out of the situation. Bilal, have you ever gotten that? No?
Really one time.
No? So what do you do? Eat a lot afterwards?
I just don't get mad.
Who eats out of comfort? One person. There's some people who eat. Qasim, you don't eat.
I can't eat if I'm that upset.
I love. I mean, Akil loves to eat when he's angry. He enjoys his like. He then goes and gets a whole load of stuff. Goes upstairs. Like that's what he does. Once food therapy also works. It works. It does work. I agree with you. It works. Yes.
I think the hot shower was one of the lectures that you mentioned. Shower.
Take a shower. Yeah, but sometimes you might be like that rage of yours will not even last till you get to the shower. Meaning, if you do not get out of the situation, that shower is going to be broken too. Or you won't even like get to the shower. You'll do something. You'll do something else, right? You might hurt somebody, right? What if you hurt somebody like critically? Now you've just destroyed your life. Critically, right? You've destroyed your life. What benefit now? Then we're gonna, Allah forbid, we'll be sitting and thinking, why did I do that? Now, you're gonna have to remind me, because my mind's going in so many different places. I'm remembering so many things, but remind me on the topic to come back to it, right? So, but I'm going to ask you a question. A lot of the crimes that are committed, the murders that are committed, are murders committed and crimes committed against people known or unknown?
No.
Known, right? And if you look at, and sometimes it is with people that you love or the people that you don't love.
No.
You understand? Love is an emotion, strong emotion. How strong? On the opposite side of love is what? Hatred, right? But hate and love has a very thin line between it. Very thin dam. Like it's a piece of paper. Love, when it goes to the other side, it becomes hate. The emotion is so strong that when you love somebody so dearly, eventually the hatred becomes as strong also. That's why if people hate you, it's good, because once upon a time they loved you. It's just a thin wall. You just got to walk through. It's power of intention. It could be anything. It could be anything. But remember, the emotion is there. It's only that look, the railway, the train is traveling on the railway line. How long, as a flip of a switch. Yes? But then what does it do to make it back? A flip of a switch. You understand? Khair. Attending these lessons is help also. But khair. So crimes that are committed against people that you love or people that you know. So what does that tell you? That the anger, the expression of anger is upon people that you love and know. They're known to you, right? You don't go, just imagine, like, I'm just going to give you go to the mall tomorrow, and then the next guy that walks around, the big guy, make sure he's nice and, big and has lots of muscles, is just worked out from the gym. And just wait, you know what? Just wait outside the gym. Wait outside the gym, and the guy that walks out says, "Yay, you!" Say, express your anger on him. What's going to happen? Will you do it first of all? You won't do it. You don't express the expression of anger is usually on people that you know. Yes, road rage, there is road rage, which is a separate situation. That is the separate issue which we need to address. There is a rage against somebody that does something. You see somebody doing something wrong to you, and you think that somebody cuts you off. You get angry upon. Yes, that can happen. but the majority of the time it's against people that you know. It's not strangers.
What about the hate crimes they will commit?
Hate crimes is also because is due to in not controlling the anger and allowing yourself to be brainwashed to think in a certain way. You understand? You will not find, inshallah, that very rarely that you will find that a Muslim has committed a hate crime. Because we are taught al-hubbu lillah wal-bughdhu lillah. You love somebody for the sake of Allah. You don't hate the person, you hate the act. Right? You don't hate the person, you hate the act. So you will rarely find that that Muslims have committed hate. Not that it's impossible for them to do that, depending on the environment they've been nurtured in and brought up in. But usually it's committed by people who have not gone through some kind of nurturing. But khair. Somebody made a comment. Let's see. This is also against people we perceive to be as weaker than us. Yes, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. That's also against people that we perceive to be weaker than us. Obviously, you're not going to express your anger on the Hulk, right? Because I think he has more anger than you, right? But going back to the topic, the topic is on anger, right? That there is expression of anger. There is different ways to the anger is expressed, different situations. But if you get yourself to a point of rage, you need to walk away from the situation. Make a note of that. Make a mental note of that. Inshallah, next time it happens, if it happens, you will walk away from it. If it doesn't happen, alhamdulillah, or you put yourself to this. Listen, if this situation escalates, I'm going to have to walk out from this situation, so I might as well de-escalate it. I might as well just stay quiet, because I'm going to program myself to walk out. You get it? So the best time to walk out is when you've had a really expensive meal at a restaurant. It's like, you get it, cousin? You walk out before paying the bill. You're trying to read my mind? You presuming that I was going to say that. Astaghfirullah. You didn't have good perception of it. But khair. But maybe I was. Hal. Next case. But because every single case today is about anger, because the state is the following. It goes, naturally, I am an angry person. It says, naturally, I am an angry person. Do you find something, is everything good with this statement? Yes? All right. Who thinks that there's something not right with this statement here? Tell me why.
I think you were saying at the beginning, it's based on oftentimes the environment, which would be nurtured, not natural. So it's not like in your blood. I mean,
right. So if you say to yourself that I'm a naturally angry person, you're giving yourself the excuse and you're empowering yourself that when you express it, it goes, but this is my nature. So using the right words to express your ills is also important. Nobody is naturally evil. The nafs is inclined towards evil, yes, but you're not naturally evil. You're not naturally an angry person. Now, there was no person, Umar radiallahu anhu's anger is famous, yes or no? No. But then, when did you ever find him utilizing his anger incorrectly? Right? So anger can be controlled. It doesn't matter how angry you are. It doesn't matter how angry you are, it can be controlled. There is no such thing that a person's anger and rage cannot be controlled. Yes, it might take time. It might take counseling. It might take certain type of words. It might take the right person, but it can be done. Number one. Number two, unless the person's insane. The person's insane, then obviously, the sanity has to be there. If there's no sanity there, it's different. It goes, when I get angry, my intelligence goes to zero. My intellect is gone. Who can relate to that one? Yes, I can. But after my anger subsides, I feel remorse. And I feel that I shouldn't have done that. I'm thinking of a solution to this problem and a cure, but can't think of anything. I don't believe that anything can even be beneficial for me in this state. What did he say? I don't believe that anything could be beneficial for me in this state. He shouldn't, like, that is a statement. You've already made a judgment again. You've made another judgment. You see, remember the power of intention. It's like, look, it says, say what you will, I'm not going to change my mind. Do what you want, it's not going to have any effect on me. These type of statements is intentions that you are making that is preventing your progress. You get it? It goes, please provide a excellent solution for this. He didn't ask for a solution. He goes, I would need a 5-star solution for this. Because if it's not 5-star, it's not going to work. Again, he's saying that the cure for this has to be something abnormal, something supersonic, something like it's never been heard of before, because I am in that state. He's putting himself in that position. He goes, even if I have to go through difficulty, I'm ready to bear it. Okay, that was a good point. Brought him back down. Answer. So remember, this answer is completely different from the previous, because the person asking the question is different. 2 people go to the doctor for the same problem, both are prescribed 2 different things. I'll give you a story. Shall I give you a story? You like listening to stories, Bete? You don't like listening to all this stuff? Ibn Sirin, rahmatullahi alayhi. Who was he? Abir al-Ru'ya. Interpretation of dreams. 2 people see the same dream, he would give 2 different translations on the temperament of the people. On even, not just the temperament, the time and place that they saw the dream would also be significant. A person comes to him and says, Sheikh, I saw a dream that there was gold underneath my bed. Gold underneath my bed. He goes, quickly go home and get your family out of the house. Your house is going to burn down. He takes his family out of the house burns down. Another person comes. He goes, Sheikh, I saw that there was gold underneath my bed. He goes, congratulations. Go dig underneath your bed, you will find a pot of gold. Exactly the same dream. That, first of all, you need ilm to translate dreams. What do you need? Ilm. And second of all, you need to have some understanding, some insight, basira, some foresight. Not everybody can translate dreams. So if you see a good dream, keep it to yourself. Because your wife's going to translate it for you. Don't worry when you tell her. You tell her, listen, I'm going to tell you a dream, don't translate it. He goes, okay, I won't translate it. Guess what? She's going to become your sheikh. She's going to translate it. She's going to say, I might as well translate his dream before anybody else. But khair. Wives, I'm not being bad on you guys. Your husbands do the same thing. You tell your husband, I'm going to tell you a dream, don't translate it, he translates it. So the best thing is to narrate your dream first to somebody who knows and understands. Have it translated if it needs translation. If not, then let it be. And I'm not going to go into the topic of dreams. But khair. So people around him and said, Sheikh, you saw two dreams, both the same. One, and you gave the translation and the interpretation. One was like a blessing and the other one wasn't. What's the deal? Because the person who saw the first dream saw it in summer. Saw the dream when? In summer. And because the person saw the dream in summer, I translated it as heat upon heat. So I said that you will, I told him that get out of the house. The second person saw the dream in winter. So even the dreams and the time that they are seen has a great indication on the interpretation. So remember that, why did I go to dreams for?
I'd like to do different temperaments that you can give different answers based on their.
So the person here, the Sheikh gives him a company. Were you listening to this on the way here? Oh, you needed to have been listening to it. Now, like you have, like you're in the middle. How come you're late today? You're not usually late. Okay. All right. I'll let it off. He's my neighbor. I have to you have to be like, Allah says, وَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah mentions shirk, that don't do it. Then he mentions the parents. And then he says, وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى, and the relatives, وَالْيَتَامَى, and the orphans, and the miskin, وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى, and your near neighbor. So, like, he has rights. So, like, I'll let you off. But don't keep utilizing the neighbor card, right? The get out of jail free card, right? But khair, the Sheikh gets to him. And he gives him a one-line answer. It goes, next time you get angry on somebody, I want you to go to that person that you got angry on in front of every single person. And I want you to hold his knees in forgiveness. You know, like, it's a paun parna, it's like, hold his feet and seek forgiveness. Actually, do you know what? Go to the shoe rack and put his shoes on your head. Go to the shoe rack and put his shoes on your head. It goes, practicing this once, twice, it goes, third time you'll be successful. For sure. Now, definitely sure the person that asked the question is of a different, but the two different, similar scenarios, two different answers. By the way, this will definitely, it will never allow you to get angry. Your nerves will never get angry again on that person. Why? Because you went through humiliation. Your nerves didn't like that humiliation. It will never allow you to do it again. This is a one-stop, this is like 100,000 milligrams, like 10,000 milligram shot. Like, if you can't control yourself, then give yourself this shot. This is a buffalo shot, an elephant shot. This is a shot that you would give to an elephant. It's enough to knock an elephant out, right? It'll knock you out too. Your nerves will be knocked out. Understand? Can you imagine putting yourself through that humiliation? But you'll control your nerve. You'll control your nerves will control itself permanently. Because do you know why? He knows that this guy's going to do something stupid. He's going to humiliate me in front of everybody. I'm never going to allow that to happen. Stop. You have to understand that your nafs is not your friend. He's not your buddy. He's actually your what? Enemy. Unless it's not rectified. Until the nafs is not rectified, your nafs is your enemy. وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. The nafs inclination is always going to be towards evil, but the nafs can be The nafs can be molded. The river can change direction. But it takes effort. But there's nobody making that effort. Nobody's worried about the effort nowadays. That's the issue. Everybody thinks that the topic of the nafs is a science that is disappearing. In the olden days, if you pick up the books, when students would go to shuyukh, said, Sheikh, I want to stay with you a few days. Because first go and fix every single person that you've harmed. Like every single person that you harm, go fix it. And then in some situations, we say, okay, go beg in front of the masjid. Go hold a cup and beg in front of. Why? All just so that the nafs will be shattered. To shatter the nafs. That's all it is. Now, the next question is exactly 2 pages long. The answer, mashallah, as the Sheikh was generous this time, he did half a page to a 2-page question. Ibrahim, shall I read it? Or shall we just do muraqabah now? You came for the muraqabah, right?
I mean, I would love for you to read it.
Really?
I missed the last one, so I got it.
So everybody else has to suffer. I'm going to read it a bit. I'm going to go through the case a bit in a speedy. But the khulasa is this. A guy goes to meet his teacher. His teacher is eating. Another guy is sitting on the other side in the Urdu language, which is called a palang. You know, who knows what a palang is? What do you say it in English?
Bed.
Bed. It's not a bed.
I mean, manji.
Yeah, nobody's going to understand manji and everybody online. But nobody's going to understand charpai online. A cot. A cot in my head is like that we put the baby inside the cot. It's the bed that has the strings on, you know, like it's woven like.
Low one.
Yeah. Right. So in the olden days, that's what people used to sit on, right? So on one side, the teacher's eating, sitting on his bed. On this side, the teacher's eating, sitting on his, on another side, another person was sitting. So this man enters the case, the person who's presenting the case enters into the room. And he goes, so he thought to himself that teacher's eating, so I shouldn't do salam. Right? So he sits down. Who thinks he's made a mistake? One person, 2 people. Because this event happened after Maghrib Salah. Because the other person says to me, by the way, it's not against the laws of tasawwuf and tazkiyah to make salam on people. The other guy sitting on the other side, he said, he admonishes me. He goes, the man says, I remain silent. All right. When my teacher completed his food, I went to him, I made salam to him, I shook his hand. And I sat next to him on his bed. And I asked him how he was, and we had a great discussion. We talked about 12 minutes. It goes, the other guy, he says to me after, he goes, tell me which hadith is it stated that you shouldn't make salam upon a person whilst he's eating. It goes, in the hadith, it says that a person when he's engaged in teaching or he's engaged, but it goes, you give me a hadith in which he says it's it. Now, not that I'm saying that he's right. I'm just telling you what he said. It goes, do you know, by the way, he claims, this man, meaning that the guy sitting on the bed is saying to me, saying he claims himself to be attached to Sheikh Ashraf Ali Tanwi rahmatullahi alayhi. He claims and boasts to be his student, and he doesn't know these basics. They claim to be the knowers of tasawwuf. They don't know these basics. What type of people are these? Now, what's happening to this guy now? What do you think is happening to him? Angry. He's getting his anger is building up inside, right? Because he started he taught like this for a while. He goes, I just smiled and just said, yeah, whatever. Just like ignored him. But in my heart now, I started thinking, what right does he have to speak to me? Now look where it started. Look where, because I didn't say anything. I just smiled at that. It was a fake smile. You know, the fake smiles that you give to people, right? Oh, by the way, don't think that the fake smiles, you don't, like, people can't see through them. If you ever want to know distinguish between a fake smile and a true smile, practice with children. They love to give you fake smiles and they love to give you true smiles. When you observe them, this is a fake smile. This is a true smile. This is a fake one. This is a true one. Who's noticed them? 2 people. That's it. You not notice. Come on. 3. Where? No? I want you to observe. By the way, huh? No. Sometimes your children will give you a fake smile. I want you to observe. I want you to observe children. I'm telling you, you learn so much about the human nafs by observing children. It is unbelievable. The observing of children, because you see the nafs in its raw state. Child, like, tomorrow you all go studying children, because we don't need to study it with him anymore. Like, let's go, like. So he goes, now my nafs said, what right does he have to speak to me like that? Because I don't even know him like that. I mean, I don't even know him like that. Why is he talking to me like that? I've never I don't even have a comfortable relationship like that with you that, you know, he would be able to speak to me like that. But I didn't say anything to him. But when my teacher started speaking to me again, and I also started speaking to him again, and we were having a great conversation. He goes, in that conversation, my teacher said something, I said something. It was a joke. We were joking with each other. But the other person could not, he misinterpreted my relationship with my teacher. And he says to him that, you know, you cannot, he became angry on me that I couldn't address him like that, or I couldn't talk like that. It goes, when he started that, it goes, my whole, everything changed. My facial expressions changed. My heart said, okay, that's it. I'm going to show him now. You know what happened, right? He got to that point. Okay, I'm going to show him this guy now. I've not come to you that you can speak to me like that. First thing. And nor am I speaking to you at this moment in time. I'm speaking to my teacher. Why are you interfering in our discussion? You're a bystander. You stay there. Let me speak to my teacher. I wasn't talking to you. And what right do you have to talk to me like that? Actually, who are you to talk to me like that? I have not once in my conversation with my teacher addressed you or looked for an acknowledgement from you. How dare you even interfere? Nor did I ask you for your advice. You are not my sheikh. You are not my teacher. Actually, who are you just to even address me? What right do you have? He goes, he also became more angry. Now he has his voice raised. I have my voice raised. He goes, I have all right to address you. You're a believer. I'm a believer. And because we're both believers, I have the right to address you. He goes, watch your mouth. Which mouth are you addressing me with? He's flipped it, right? He flipped it. Khalas. He goes, don't you have any faults inside of you? Salam is not farad. You know, that's Sharia, pull the Sharia card out, right? It's a sunnah. He goes, we don't know, just by leaving this one sunnah, people might be leaving many other sunnahs, but you want me to implement this sunnah. And you know, sometimes people even leave the obligatory, never mind leaving a sunnah. What he's hinting at is you're probably deficient in your obligations and you're asking me to do my sunnah. And I also said, you shouldn't make salam to a person who's eating. Maybe when he's answering, the food goes down the wrong way. It goes into his airways. And something might just get lodged in his throat. He said, show me a hadith, show me your dalil. Because I don't know of the hadith on top of my head, but I have heard it from my elders. He goes, okay, I submit to that. The other person said, I believe you. When he was eating, why didn't you make salam to me? I wasn't eating. On that, I stayed quiet. On that statement, I stayed quiet. He goes, the situation continued. The teacher came in, what's happening? I told him this is what's happened. He says that, he claims himself to be a Sufi. He goes, this is not Sufi. He goes, even if somebody threw manure on you, you shouldn't talk like that. The teacher goes, but why would you even, is it okay to throw manure on somebody? like why you say that? You talk as if it's okay to throw manure on somebody. But because now we know his rank, his condition. He's nowhere. He's just a beginner. He's like he doesn't know anything. He goes, I said to him, listen, I have never claimed to be a person of great piety or righteousness, nor did I ever make that claim in front of you. I have thousands of faults inside of me. Anyway, this is what happened. And he comes and narrates the story to the Sheikh. Now, it's a bit more detailed, but I sort of, instead of trying to go into the detailed case itself, but you've understood the case. You've understood the case, everybody? Is there anybody who didn't understand the case? MashaAllah, you guys are getting good at this, huh? In a few days, you'll be having your own practices. MashaAllah. Number one. The other person made this statement that the other person was eating, I wasn't, you should have made salam to me, is the correct statement. Sheikh is telling him, he's teaching him, the other person made a right statement. He was eating, I wasn't eating. You should have made salam to me. That's right. Everything else he said was bakwas. What is it? Was it? Meaningless. Right? It was all he was just trying to trigger you, because remember, his nafs, the guy sitting on top, nafs, got injured when the guy came and didn't make salam, and then when the teacher finished eating, he made salam to him. But because the student thought that I don't need to make salam to you because you're not in the level of my teacher, that person became upset. So his ego got bruised too, right? So that's why he went through all of this just to trigger this guy. You bruised my ego, I'm going to take revenge on you. Now listen, one salam, triggered this huge conversation. Now tell me, these people, when they meet in the street, are they going to hug each other? Truthfully, no. Unless these people are of some rank that they're going to hug each other, right? Otherwise, they will never hug each other. You need to be you need to suppress yourself and suppress your own wants to actually be good to the other person. But look at just one salam out of place. Where did this end up? It will end up that you know my sheikh's bigger than your sheikh and this and that. It just went into an area where it was just they were just throwing arrows at each other. There was no meaning to it. Just trying to hurt each other. What do we learn from there? What do we learn as a side topic? What have we just learned? Mana was daydreaming. But I'm not going to ask him what he was daydreaming about. I'll ask him afterwards. Yes, Mana Bakhtiyar, you tell me. Shaykh al-Islam. No? Anybody tell me. Come on.
Anything can trigger the
There
anger.
you go. A small thing, simple as a salam, can trigger an argument that can lead to two hearts breaking apart. Simple thing. And the person whose ego was bruised, he should not have held himself to that station. That he should have realized that the elder person is the teacher here, and I am not the elder here. I don't need salam, it's not needed. But because he held himself in, he gave himself status, his ego got bruised. Both parties. You understand? Number one. Number two. Because when you addressed him that he shouldn't have spoken to you angrily or in a manner that was full of anger, that was also correct, because a believer gives advice to another person, and it was against the etiquette. And it is only the right of the elders that they can admonish somebody. Look, it is the right of the elders to admonish. So remember, it's not everybody's duty to admonish. It's not everybody's right that you can go admonish. It's the rights of the elders to admonish. And it is not the right of just anybody to admonish anybody. There are certain ways to admonish different people. But khair says that because everything else that you said was also worthless. The only point that you made was right was this. Everything else you said was bakwas, also fudul. No meaning to it, no purpose to it, meaningless. But he goes, when he also defined elder, he goes, elders are of two types. One are those elders that they are above you in station because they're a judge, they're appointed to certain positions that might be above you. Somebody who is a judge obviously is not in that same, somebody who is an imam, because these are appointed positions. Or it might be certain qualities that person has that makes him superior to yourself, that it makes him your elder, right? So, and then there'll be certain people who will have both. They will have position and the qualities. So you have to understand that not everybody can become an elder, and nor should one think of himself to be an elder. It's something that when you get there, you'll know, but until you're not there, you won't know. You understand? So two things. And then thirdly, he said, it goes, the way both of you spoke was incorrect. The way both of you addressed each other was incorrect. But because he initiated it, he goes, al-badi'u bil-dhulm, a person who initiated the injustice. So you had the right to defend yourself, but وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. But you had to right to defend yourself to a point where you would defend to a point where equivalent to the injustice. Right? لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء من القول إلا من ظلم. Allah doesn't like the expression of somebody being unjust, or the expression of injustice, like somebody's claim that you illam, except for the one who's been oppressed. He can he can express that, right? It goes, if you were mindful of the rules and regulations of Sharia when you were expressing your dissatisfaction upon what he said to you and upon his expression of anger to you, then fine. But if you transgress the limits, then you need to seek forgiveness. He goes, whatever else, he goes, you need to seek forgiveness for the wrongs that have happened. And those rights that have been transgressed, that are hukukul ibad, they need to seek forgiveness for. Hukukullah, you need to seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He goes, how will you know and how will you judge? Allah, he says, Balil insanu ala nafsihi basira. A man is a guardian upon himself. You have to be able to become a judge upon yourself to make sure that, what I did was right or what I did was wrong. You know yourself what you did. Nobody else knows. You know what you did. You already know if you did right or wrong. Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? Who has a question, follow up on this? Nobody. That was 2.5 pages in super fast speed. Before that, we only did a few lines before you came, Wibu. MashaAllah, it's your barakah and your presence that we got 2.5 pages done. If you were to bestow your and grace us with your presence more often, we would be very grateful, inshallah. I'm thinking that when am I going to finish this book? So what happened, like my shaitan played with me a bit. So I was like about maybe 100 pages away, but I just kept looking at the end. But it just looked like it was close. So I goes, well, it's going to finish, but it's not finishing. There just seems to be pages upon pages, even but we're nearly there. We're nearly there. But how long have we been studying this book? 4 years. Lala. Seriously?
About 3.5. Yeah.
Subhanallah. We've only got 3 more volumes. This was volume 1. Subhanallah. Really? Has it been that long? Time flies. MashaAllah. And you guys have been coming for so long. Wow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you guys jaza. Allah give you some understanding. You guys have enough case studies in front of you. Khalas. You guys can open up shop. Let's do some muraqabah, inshallah. Anybody have a question before I start? Let's do muraqabah. Focus the mind into the heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think that your heart is saying Allah, Allah, Allah. And don't say anything with your tongue. Just focus. And when if your heart goes in a different direction and starts thinking about other things, just bring it back to thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. برحمتك يا رب. إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.